Just a quick shout out to the CS50 program. Fantastic going through it. I highly recommend it. I think my favorite was 50ville, but no spoilers. And so let's dive into the app. All right, so this is the app. So we've got full stack essentially, and it leverages a virtual DOM. And I can't really go into that because that's a whole thing in itself. But creating a fun little animation like this with SCSS is not that difficult. We just create some div classes and play with the keyframes so that they transform and animate with different types of linear reverse loops that we see are running infinitely, causing this fun little animation. So I'm gonna test this out. I'm gonna put my name, Ganesh. Now this is fictitious, it's just a show, and we'll say sign up. All right, looks good. So we're up in our SQL here, but we can run a query here. We're gonna select all from users. At ID 7, we see we've got Maurice Ganesh, my email here. And then we see this really long script. We're running our project with run pi. We've basically refactored the code out so it's more readable. And in our models, generate password hash, check password hash. It's just a one-way hashing system, which is the proper way you want to be storing passwords. How we were able to register is in our routes here. So we see that we've got a REST route endpoint that our front end can then connect to. Back into our React code, we can go into our views, which are the higher order components, to see how we're bringing an Axios over here, and we have formic for our form. If we scroll down, what's actually happening in this form, the endpoint where we're going to send that information and get that JSON and send it over. And then we're dispatching with Redux to set up our information to scale your app further as you're building in order to avoid prop drilling and things of that nature in React. And let's see if this works. Okay, boom. We've signed into our application by combining open source and React and SCSS open source libraries. We have a simple game that we can play. Notice how we have this Redux store. This is the data that we're initializing with our state, and then we're able to update that data. All right, so let's play this game and see what happens. Can we get it? Can we get it right? And notice how fast this was updated. Games played has been updated in the Redux store to 1 with our log. Notice how we see a change for Maurice Ganesh over here to 1. We'll see that in our users, we have games played. Press the button again. We are sending a response to the API server games, and we're running games played, and we send the update, which should then update the response +1. But notice how we're also updating games played to whatever the previous value is +1. This is the disparity here. And again, there are many ways for you to sync the front and back end. I'm not saying this is good or necessarily bad. It really depends on every situation. The point of this is just to show data flow. This is our Flask backend over here. This is where we got React running, and then we have our SQL over here. And notice all these 200 messages that we have set up. Notice we've got a nice, fully responsive design here. I hope you enjoyed this, and all the best to everyone out there with their own projects and development journey.